Zdrasty, everyone, and welcome to English for You. I'm here with Reese, and it's day 2 of our look at the Bulgarian Festival of Kookari.
Zdrasty, is that right?
Zdrasty, yes. Well, we've been to Bulgaria, we've absorbed the culture, and we came back and we learned one word.
Zdrasty.
Isn't that amazing?
I'm exhausted after wearing those bells around my waist.
Boy, was that hard work.
Yeah. Yesterday we learned about Kookari and how the usually men that participate, although nowadays girls can join in too, how they wear costumes of animal skin and fur, and they wear these bells and they do these special dances, all for the reason of chasing away evil spirits, kind of in the way that in East Asian cultures we chase away Nian, the big New Year monster who hates the color red and is terrified of fireworks. So it seems like many different cultures have traditions of chasing away monsters with loud noises and funny costumes.
Absolutely. But the Kookari Festival in Bulgaria, it also involves generations, basically. So people will make these costumes. As we said originally, it was men and boys. Now anyone can do it. And people will actually hand these costumes down from grandparents to parents to children over hundreds of years. And when you think about how complicated and difficult these costumes are to make, and the fact that sometimes the belts and the bells that they have hanging off them weigh 100 kilograms, in weight, it kind of makes sense that this isn't a costume you might just prepare every year like a Halloween costume. So it really is part of the Bulgarian national tradition, and also family traditions get involved too. So we're going to be learning more about the Kookari Festival and other things that you could see and do and enjoy in the amazing and very interesting country of Bulgaria.
Reading. Bulgaria's Kookari chase the evil spirits away. The yearly Serva Festival is seen as the most important event of its kind and lasts for 2 days. As many as 6,000 masquerade performers take part in the festival parade each year in January. This includes about 100 groups from every region of Bulgaria, as well as companies from Europe, Asia, and Africa. The festival takes place in Pernik, a town of about 90,000 people. On the streets, the participants perform rituals that are thousands of years old. These include complex dancing and staged pretend fights between good and evil. They use torches to scatter the evil spirits. Crowds of people come out to watch, dressed in warm winter clothing. The festival also includes tables full of Bulgarian food. You can see a huge number of masks at the festival. Some have features cut out of wood, while others are made entirely from smooth fur broken only by narrow holes for the eyes. There are awards for the best teams, and people in the crowd can even vote by text message.
Well, the article begins by saying the yearly Serva Festival is seen as the most important event of its kind and lasts for 2 days. Okay, so we're learning something else about Bulgarian traditions here, a new festival. But first, let's look at this word yearly. If you look inside this word, you can see the word year, which is 365 days. Yearly means once a year. We also have the word annual, which has the exact same meaning as yearly. Something that happens yearly happens once every year. For example, your birthday, Christmas, Halloween, maybe doing your taxes is a yearly occurrence. And in different countries, we have different yearly or annual festivals. So the Serva Festival is a yearly event. Here's an example. Ramadan is a yearly holiday celebrated by Muslim people. There's an important grammar point to talk about here, and it's using this particular structure to see A as B, or to think of A as B, or to regard A as B. So the article said the yearly Serva Festival is seen as the most important event of its kind and lasts for 2 days. So what this means is to think about something in a particular way. If something is seen as this way or this thing, that means we think about that thing in a special way, or we have an opinion about that thing. Here's an example sentence. Marina sees Bali as the perfect vacation spot because of its beautiful beaches. So Marina thinks about the place Bali as the perfect spot. Another example could be Abraham is viewed as an honest person because he always tells the truth. So here is viewed as could be replaced by is thought of as, or is seen as, or is looked on as. That means that people have the opinion that Abraham is an honest person. He's viewed in that way.
Now, it says in the article about this Survey Festival, as many as 6,000 masquerade performers take part in the festival parade each year in January. So this might be a day when the Kookari monsters get the day off. They don't have to come out and shake their bells at everyone. No, people are being entertained by 6,000 masquerade performers. Now, a masquerade, well, you might sort of hear the word mask, M-A-S-K. That's how we spell mask. And of course, now these days we know all about medical masks that we wear to cover our nose and mouth to stop spreading COVID. But you can also think here of masks you might wear with your Halloween costume. So they're sort of decorated or designed, they cover your face, and they hide your identity. No one can really know who is underneath that mask. And a lot of cultures do maybe have a masquerade sort of festival or a party or something like that, kind of like Halloween, but you're not maybe wearing an entire costume or playing a character. You just have sort of nice clothes on like you might wear to a fancy party, and on top of that, you wear this mask to cover your face. When you take part in something, you join in an activity. People are doing something, and instead of just sitting there on the side watching what they're doing, you get into the action. So someone might invite you to take part in their birthday party, or take part in a picnic they're going on the weekend, or take part in a basketball game that they just happen to be playing in the park, or something like that. So I guess these performers are people who kind of put on a show for the audience. So maybe if Reese and I went there as tourists, we might not be wearing the masks, but we can certainly watch these people, and they might have, dancers or jugglers and musicians and all kind of cool stuff. And these also probably very beautiful painted masks that everyone is wearing.
In January, it must be
It's cold.
Pretty cold in January
Good
in Bulgaria. Well, back to the article, and it continues. This includes about 100 groups from every region of Bulgaria, as well as companies from Europe, Asia, and Africa. The festival takes place in Pernik, a town of about 90,000 people. So, a pretty small town, but not like as small as a village. I think my hometown has about 90,000 people in it.
Okay.
And so this town, I guess, has become famous for hosting this particular festival, and people from all over the world come to Bulgaria to celebrate together. The article actually used the word region. 100 groups from every region of Bulgaria come to the party. Region is a noun, and a region is an area or a part of a place, usually a country. Region is a very non-specific word. A region is a general part of a country. So you could say the South or the Northeast or the West. These are all different regions of a country. You can also say a region of the world. So East Asia is a region of the world that contains many different countries. And people might have different definitions of what that region actually consists of. There are not strict borders like you'll find with countries. Instead, it's a part of the world or a part of a country that's connected by perhaps the people or the language or the culture. In America, the Midwest is a region that's not strictly defined by lines, but more about people and their identities. Here's an example sentence. The Sonoma and Napa regions of California are famous for their wine.
Oh, okay. And other regions of California are famous for the fruit that they grow and things like that. Whereas Sonoma and Napa, they grow grapes. And in southern regions, they might grow more peaches and, other types of fruit. So yeah, regions are different, but in different sorts of ways. Now, it said also that 100 groups from every region or different area. We might think of it as county or province, but all over Bulgaria, where people are slightly different in the north, south, east, west. So all of those groups, people from all of those different regions, they go, as well as companies from Europe, Asia, and Africa. So wow, maybe, Reese, we could go and take part in the masquerade parade and not just watch. We could be one of those companies from Asia and go representing, I don't know, AMC or something like that.
Let's do it.
Who knows? We saw that phrase, as well as. This is very similar to also or and also. We're adding another thing to a list. We're including two different separate things, but we're including them and showing that they're in the same group, at least in this situation. So we have people wearing the performers with their masks on from Bulgaria, as well as from Europe, Asia, and Africa. Notice there we use this word companies. Now, we're not talking about business companies. We're not saying that, companies from the other parts of the world, like Nissan or some company from Japan or other parts of the world are joining. No, when we talk about a company in this place, it's basically an organized group of entertainers. We often use this for performances that need a lot of people to put on a show. So a ballet company, that might be one. We might talk about a theater company or a circus company or something like that. So it's not the kind of company that we think of as a business that, makes things and sells things in stores or something. We're talking about a group of actors who perform together in sort of an organized, formal way. Ballet companies will go on tours around the world and also perform at home in their home city or country. So I guess they have, performers from all over the world who also take part in this festival. Then it says, on the streets, the participants perform rituals that are thousands of years old. What a mysterious sentence.
Ooh, that
I don't really understand what that is. It's just another reason that we need to go and watch, I guess.
Yeah,
because what are these rituals that are thousands of years old that they're performing? I want to know. What is a ritual? Basically, a ritual is a set of actions, a set of behavior that's performed in the same way, and it's part of a tradition of a culture or a nation or a people or something like that. When people get married, they have a wedding, and they'll wear certain clothes and say certain words and give each other a certain ring and put it on a certain finger. Those are all different rituals. Now, often those rituals are found in similar ways in different countries, but they'll often be a little different. So for a lot of the important stages in our life, when we're born, when we get married, when we die, when we grow up and become adults and stop being children, there'll be these different rituals that people perform to sort of, be part of the culture and to sort of pay attention and make something special. An important part of your life is made special and more meaningful or more important by performing these rituals. So I don't know what to do with a ritual, a masquerade ritual, and a parade. Well, what are they doing?
Well, the article describes some of these rituals.
Okay.
It says the rituals, include complex dancing and staged pretend fights between good and evil.
Wow, it's like a stunt show featuring Jackie Chan.
Yeah, or like, Punch and Judy.
Oh, yeah, sure.
That's kind of different, I guess. But often these rituals that vary between cultures, they come from often religious stories or myths or folk tales. Sometimes they teach us lessons, but nowadays they're kind of just nice, interesting traditions that keep cultures alive. The article says these include complex dancing and staged pretend fights between good and evil. Now, the verb to pretend usually means to fake being something else that you're not really. But here it's used as an adjective, which means imaginary or not real. If I have a pretend fight with my friend, that means we pretend to fight. We're not really fighting, we're just playing with each other. Or you could use this example. Do you want a cup of tea? She asks. offering me a pretend cup. So the cup that she's handing me is not real. Her hand is empty. It's pretend. It's fake. It's not really there. You might have a pretend tea party with your niece or nephew and a group of teddy bears.
Okay, and another thing that they do in these parades, along with the complex dancing and these pretend fights between good and evil, it says they use torches to scatter the evil spirits. Okay, kind of like how people might use firecrackers to scatter or to chase away Nian in Chinese New Year. They're using fire in the form of a torch to chase away the evil spirits at this Bulgarian festival. When we use a torch, basically you kind of think of that movie scene where there might be a hero or the explorer and they're going into a cave or a mysterious dark temple or something, and they don't have an electric light. They don't have a flashlight. They don't have their cell phone with that electric light that you can turn on to carry around when you're somewhere very dark, but you get a piece of wood maybe or something like that, and you wrap it in some kind of something you can burn, and then you light it on fire, and you can kind of imagine the heroes of the movie carrying their torches as they light their way through a dark cave or something like that. So back before people had electric lights that they could carry by hand, what we in North America would call a flashlight, they would have a torch made of something burning that they use to carry around. So it's not like a candle, it's not like a lamp, something that's designed to give you light. It's something you kind of just create with what's around you. And yes, to make things very confusing, British people also use the word torch to talk about the electric flashlight as well.
We do.
So
sorry
anything
about that.
portable in Britain would be a torch that you're carrying around, but in North America, the electric one, the one we are more familiar with, that would be a flashlight, but that old burning kind, that would be a torch. To scatter is basically to chase away, something that's kind of gathered in a big group, and you don't want them to be there, then you might wave your arms at them if they're birds, and they'll fly off in very different directions. They won't all go one way, they'll all go, all the different directions to just try to get away from you as quickly as possible. So I know near my apartment, sometimes in the morning, I have several birds that sit outside my window making noises, going at 5 o'clock in the morning. So I might open the window and make some noise to scatter those birds, to chase them away, in the same way that a teacher might scatter the children as they stand around the desk saying, "Teacher, teacher, I have a question," or "Teacher, teacher, give me my exam scores." "Oh, go away, go away, go away." The teacher scatters the children, kind of chases them away and gets them to sort of leave them alone. Here's an example sentence. The cockroaches scattered when Milton turned on the kitchen light.
Well, the article continues. It says, crowds of people come out to watch, dressed in warm winter clothing.
Oh, that's right. It is January.
It is January in Europe. The festival also includes tables full of Bulgarian food.
Ooh.
Something else I don't know much about. Well, the article used the word clothing here, which is a noun, and clothing is the collective word for clothes. Clothing is a word that includes all different kinds of clothes, right? Things that you wear on your body, like a t-shirt or pants or underwear or socks. These are all clothes or clothing. We can use this word in the same way as the word clothes. There are so many different kinds of clothes. We wear more clothes or clothing in the winter, usually less in the summer. And costumes are a form of clothing that we use, that we wear during festivals or special activities. Here's an example sentence with clothing. After she washes the clothing, Sally hangs it on the line to dry.
All right, that's a good place to hang your clothing after it's nice and clean. And remember, this is a masquerade ball, or a masquerade festival, I should say. So masks, and we mentioned that these masks are probably very beautiful and decorated and maybe very old too, because we read you can see a huge number of masks at the festival. So there's all sorts of different designs. A great place to go with a camera if you like to kind of capture interesting cultural scenes and traditions and stuff like that. It says some of the masks, some have features cut out of wood, while others are made entirely from smooth fur, broken only by narrow holes for the eyes. Wow, a very huge range of different styles that they have here. Some of them are made of wood and decorated with wood. Others are made of fur to give you more of an animal kind of appearance, and they're broken only by narrow holes for the eyes. That sounds actually kind of scary, a furry face that would actually probably look like a beast or a monster or something like that. But as we said, very unique, very unusual, and also very, very interesting. Here we said a number of the masks, or a huge number of the masks. When we talk about a number of something, we're just saying there were more than one, but not, millions of them, not thousands of them, but maybe 10, 20. The point is here, when we say a number of, we're kind of saying, look, it was more than one. We would say it was several or many or something like that. But the important thing is that the number, the exact number, is not that important, right? They're not going to say, you will see a total of 38 styles of masks at the festival, because we'll be there counting them. Did we see all 38? Something like that. So we just say a number of them. So there's, quite a few different designs or different styles of masks. And some of them, yes, are made with fur. From my description of that, you probably guessed that if you look like an animal with a mask on and it's made of fur, maybe it's because fur is animal hair. That's what animals have all over their bodies. We would talk about humans having hair. We have hair on our heads. You might have some hair on your arms or legs or something like that. Animals, for some reason, we just don't call that hair. We call that fur. All right? So it's maybe a little different from human hair, but probably not that different. But certainly when you're scratching your dog or stroking your cat, you might enjoy, the feel of your hand on their very smooth and soft fur, that kind of thing. There are certain animals that we would use different words for. We wouldn't say fur, for example, for sheep. When we get wool from sheep, we don't call that fur. We would call that another word. But certainly with most animals, when we talk about the color of their fur or the shape, the designs and colors on their fur, we're talking about their hair. For example, sloths, sloths, very slow, hang from trees in the Amazon. Sloths move so slowly that they can have plants growing in their fur.
Ooh, sounds kind of gross, but sloths are cute, so they can get away with it.
That's true. I guess their hairdressers are very upset with them. You should shampoo more.
Well, back to the article, and it wraps up here. It says, there are awards for the best teams, and people in the crowd can even vote by text message.
Oh, that's the ancient Bulgarian tradition of voting by text message.
Voting by text.
Yeah, they've been doing that for hundreds of years in Bulgaria.
Well, it's interesting. They've still got these old ancient traditions, but they're updating them with modern technology.
Absolutely. You can Instagram your favorite mask.
There we are. Well, that's the end of the two-day article about these Bulgarian traditions. I think we've all learned something about a place that we didn't know too much about. Let's go to our For You chat question to talk about this festival.
For You chat.
Hey, Mike, would you like to go to the Survey Festival? Why or why not?
I would definitely like to go to the festival. I've never actually been to a masquerade festival like this. I've been to Halloween parties or something, but not something more sort of old style like the Venice Masquerade Ball or the Carnival or the Survey Festival. Although, when I saw that thing about the tables filled with Bulgarian food, I'm not sure I would be able to leave the table for long enough to look at all the masks, because I looked up some Bulgarian food. It actually looks quite nice, kind of like Greek food or Turkish food. So that sounds pretty good too. But all in all, masks, you got your traditions. Of course, looking at yesterday, we had the Kookari Festival, and throw in some delicious Bulgarian food. I think I'm 40% of the way towards booking my next holiday to Bulgaria.
Yeah, whenever I travel to a new place, one of the things I like to do is try and time it well enough that I can visit during special festivals for that culture. Like when I was in Japan, I managed to catch a very local summer festival in the town of Gifu.
Oh, cool.
Which was super interesting. So this sounds like, if you want to go to Bulgaria, maybe you could plan a trip in January to catch this festival.
Good point, and it would probably be cheaper to go then than in the summer when all the other tourists go.
Exactly. Well, that's the end of our two-day article about Bulgaria. You guys can think about this question too. Would you like to go to the festival? Would you brave the European winter to see the people dancing in the streets? Why or why not? But we'll leave it there, and we'll see you next time. From me, Reese and Mike, goodbye.
Take care.
Vocabulary Review.
Yearly. I have a yearly party for my birthday, for which I plan a meal at a nice restaurant. Region. There are many high mountains in the central region of Taiwan. Pretend. Kayla played a princess in a show and wore a beautiful crown with pretend diamonds on it. Scatter. Bob turned on the light, which scattered the bugs across the floor. Clothing. Tiffany packed warm clothing for her trip to Sweden because it gets quite cold there in winter. Fur. Some people who live in very cold places wear fur coats to stay warm.
智慧小补帖
Masquerade. Ritual. Torch.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作。活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net